Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back. So in this video we will be working up with the margins and the paddings, and this comes in the Elementor Advanced tab. So if you go to the website right here, now let's suppose that I add a section and then I add a full column, and now right here I add a heading right here. Now this is the heading that is right here. Now in the advanced, if I just click on it, I get margin and I get the padding. So we're going to be understanding these two things, as these two things are really very critical when you are designing a website. And also these things are really hard to understand at first, but as you will progress with this course, it will be very much easier for you. And after this video, you will be amazed to see how easy it is to work with the margins and paddings. So you have worked with the margin already before, like when you wanted to write something on your copy on a page, you just draw a line and then you write it. So that is actually what we call as a margin. Same like this, if you open up Microsoft Word, we do get margin from the top and from the left as well. And when you are writing something, you can just write it just like that. So if I just go to lipsum.com, I just hit generate lorem ipsum, I copy out the whole paragraph, and I just go into the Microsoft Word and I just paste it. You can see that what is happening. We do have some spacing from the left, from the top, and from the right here as well. And right from the bottom we do get it. So if I just go ahead, I just copy everything and I just paste it twice, then you can see that on the first page I do get from the bottom as well. So these are actually the spacing. And same goes with the margin and the padding. So margin and padding are actually spacing. Now margin is the space outside the element, and the padding is the space that is inside the element. So this is very much easy. Just keep that in mind. Margin is the space that is outside the element, and padding is the space that is inside the element. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at it. Now what I want you guys to do, I want you guys to create a new section, go into the column, select the first column, and then just drag the heading right here. Now you can type in here anything, and now what you need to do is to go into the style, change your styling, and increase the font size a bit so that you can see what we are doing in here. Alright, and now what I want you guys to do, I want you guys to just edit the heading again. Right click on it, click edit heading, and now go to the advanced, and in the advanced go into the border right here. And now in the border, just select the border to be solid border, select a color, so we're going to be selecting the color to be red, just like that, and we're going to be increasing the width of the border. Alright, so now you can see that this is how it's looking. We have an element, and this element is actually the heading. Now here the blue line is coming right here, that is representing that this is an element. So if I just set my border to none, then you can see this blue line is actually coming when this heading is selected, telling you that this is actually the element that has been selected. Now when I apply the solid color to it, this blue line is basically still there, but it is not quite visible, so that is why I just wanted to tell you. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at the padding, and let's take a look at the margin. So padding is basically the space that is inside. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to increase the padding right from here. I'm going to bring my mouse to it, and I'm going to just increase the padding. So see what is happening. When we increase the padding is increased from top, right, bottom, and left, and every side is getting a padding right here. So basically the spacing is being given from the inside of the element. Now if I just go ahead and I add the margin, I just increase it, see what happens. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to hold it, and then see what is happening is that the margin creates spacing outside the element. So when you want to give spacing inside the element, you add padding, and when you want to give spacing outside the element, you add margin. Now this might be very confusing to you guys. Do not worry, we're going to be taking a look at an example, and after that you will be able to understand it much better. Let's take a look at the same example I was referring to. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to quickly design this, and then we're going to see how we can give some spacing from the top, bottom, and everywhere to these particular columns right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a section with 2 columns. In this column, I'm going to be adding this text, and the other column will have an inner section. So let's just go ahead and let's add a text, and then let's add a text editor, and then let's add a button down below. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click edit section. I'm going to set it to have a minimum height, just like that. And now I'm going to go into the style. I'm going to go to the classic color, and I'm going to choose my color just like that. And now you can see we do get a design of this. Now what you can do is that you can style your headings and text like that, but we're not going to be doing that. We are basically focusing on this thing right here. So what we want to do is that we want to add 2 columns, and then we want to add 2 columns right down below. And so for that, what you need is that you need to have an inner section. Now in this inner section, what we will do is that first of all, we will be adding a heading. And this heading will tell us about our service, that is the web design. All right, this is going to be our first service. I'm going to align this to center right here. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go into the edit column, right click on this, click edit column, go to the style, and then select the background color to be white. All right. Then what you can do is that you can right click on the heading, click edit heading, go to the style, and change the text color to black. All right. Now what you can do is that you can get the text editor and drop it right here, and then you can just add a 1 single sentence. And now what you can do is that you can go to the style, and then you can select like center it, and now you can select the color to be black. Now if you take a look at this, we do get a design like this. All right, but now what we need to do is that we need to add another element. We just need to basically duplicate this. So what we can do is that we can right click on this column, click duplicate, and now we get 3 columns. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to delete this. Now what has happened is that we have 2 columns. Now what we will do is that we will go ahead and we will duplicate this section, inner section right here, so we do get like 4 columns. Now what we will do is that we will change the second one to SEO, graphic design, and mobile app. So now what we need to do, we need to give spacing from this column, and we need to give spacing from this. And what we mean, we are selecting this column. So when we are selecting this column, we need to give spacing right here. And what we are doing is that we are giving the space outside the element. So if you take a look at it, this is the element. All right. The element that I'm referring is actually the column, because I want to give spacing from the column. So I want to give spacing outside the column right here. And when we want to give spacing outside, what do we use? We use margin. So what we will do is that we will select our first column. We will click edit column on it. And then what we will do is that we will go to the advanced. And now we want to give spacing outside. So we will say that we want to just give some margin. So what we want to do, we want to give some margin from the right side so that we do get some spacing. Now, see what happens. When I want to give spacing from the right side, so let's suppose that I increase it, the margin is given from every single side right here. Now, let's suppose that I want to give margin from only the right side. Then what I would do is that I would first set this to 0. And then I would need to just uncheck this that says link values together. And now I can give any of the margin from each specific side where I want to give. So what I will do is that I will increase it. I will say that I want to give 10 pixels. And now you can see I do get some spacing right from here. So let's suppose that I just say that I want to give a margin from the right to be 5 pixels. And now you can see I do have some spacing. So now I want to give this margin to every side of the column. So what I will do is that I will right click on this column. I will copy the style. I will right click on this column. I will paste the style. I will right click on this column, I will paste the style, and I will right click on this column and I will paste the style. Now if I just click on this arrow, you can see that I do get the spacing right here, but I want to give the spacing from the top as well. So for the top, what I would do is that I would select this column and I would go to the advanced, and now I want to give this spacing from the top as well. So I will say that I want to give 5 from the top. All right. And now I would select this column again. I would go to the advanced and I would say that I want to give 5 from the top. And now you can see that I have got this much spacing right here. And we are getting this particular design that we already did, and we do have this spacing that we wanted to give. Now, here you can see that inside this column, we have some spacing. We have some spacing right here, and we have some spacing right here, and we have some spacing right here, and we have some spacing right here. So what we would need to do for that? And so for that, what you need to do is to give padding. So how do you give padding? Let's just go ahead and let's click edit column and let's increase the padding. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on this up right here, and now you can see that when I'm giving the padding, how the spacing is being created from the top and the bottom. So on just reaching 35, we do get the exact same spot. So when you have reached this, what you can do is that you can copy the style and you can paste the style right here. And now you can go ahead and you can select this column as well, and you can set this to 35 for the padding, and you can set this to 35 for the padding as well. Now, I would recommend you to watch this video once again so that you can see what we did over here. We gave the padding on this column so that we do get spacing from the inside, and we gave the spacing outside so that we do get just like we can just separate these particular columns, and we do get a spacing right here. And now you can see that this design is kind of like matching this design that is right here. All right. So now let's go ahead and let's take a look at another example so that you can understand what I have told you. Now, if we go above, you can see that this is already another section. All right, this is basically another section. And how this section is created, like this section is half above, then we have 4 columns. So how this section is created, we want to see that. So what we will do is that we will go ahead and we will create our Elementor right here. And then what we will do is that we will create a 4-column section. This is a section, and we have 4 columns right here exactly like this. All right. So now what we will do is that we will go ahead and we will add some counters in it. So we will just click on this right here. We will go down, and where it says the counter, we're going to just drag it and drop it right here. And now what we will do is that we will go ahead and we will copy this, and we will paste it here, and we will paste it here, and we will paste it here. So now we have these counters right here. Now what we need to do is that we need to basically bring this counters right above here so that we can see this in a square type thing right here. So for that, what you need to do is that you need to select this section, and now you need to bring this section right on just a little bit above here. So what you will do is that you will go to the advanced, and now you can see that when we wanted to give some margin, if we were to give some margin from the top, I'm going to unlink the value so that the margin is actually given from the top as well. So when I increase the margin, my element goes down because like the spacing is being created from the top on this particular section. But if I just decrease my margin and then I decrease it, so then you can see that my margin is going into the minus, and then my numbers are just going a little bit above, just like that. And you can see that how is this performing. So we have this numbers right here. And now what you can do is that you can go ahead and you can select edit column, you can go to the style, you can add a white color on it. All right. And now what you can do is that you can go ahead and you can copy this item and you can paste the style, and you can come up here and paste the style, and you can come up here and paste the style. So now you can see that we have got this design right here, and this is right here coming. Same like this, if you want to give border right down below, you can add that too. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to have to select edit column, go into the border, and we want to give the border a solid color, and we want to give it only in the bottom. So what we will do, we will unlink the values, and we will give a border. All right, the border is actually 4 pixels. Now what you can do is that you can copy this style, you can come up here and you can paste the style, and you can come up here and you can paste the style, and you can come up here and you can paste the style. And now when you will click this arrow, you can see we do get a border right here. So now if I just go ahead and I add another section, I just add a full section, and right here I add a heading, and then I add a text editor. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy everything and paste it just like that. And now you can see that this is how it's looking. So now let's suppose that I want to give some spacing from the top. Then what I would need to do, I would need to select this section. I would go to the advanced. I would unlink the values, and I want to give spacing from the top. So what I would need to do is that I would increase my margin just like that till I get my perfect spot, and now I do have the spacing. So this is how the margins and the paddings works, and now you can see that how we have achieved this design, and we have added this design over here, and we have implemented this. Same like this, we have also achieved this design that is right here. Now, there are a lot more designs that we will be working up throughout this course that will be done with the margin and the padding. So I would recommend you to go ahead and rewatch this video once again so that you can understand like how margin and how paddings work. And after that, you can go ahead and you can work on with this particular course. Stay tuned, guys, and bye-bye.